me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I want to encourage you, and my objective always is to encourage you to believe God and to believe in yourself. It's important for you to believe God and to believe in yourself. Philippians chapter 4 blesses us in Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. It reads like this. It says, believe God and to believe in yourself. It's important for you to believe God and to believe.
Well, hello and happy Thursday, Praise Temple family, guests, friends, all who are assembled here via Facebook Live, YouTube Live, PraiseTemple.com. We're streaming live on Twitter via Periscope, via Instagram. I am Keisha Miller. I serve as the Executive Director of the Young Adults Ministry here in Praise Temple, Shreveport. And tonight we're just going to have a casual conversation, just letting you know a little bit about our ministry. I have a few of my ministry cohorts here who are just going to give their insight on how we operate things at the temple. We're also going to discuss a few topics that are very important to our generation, such as the Black Lives Matter movement and how important it is to vote, especially in this year's election. Although this is not a common broadcast, you are still more than welcome to send any of your prayer requests, your questions, your comments, or your concerns to info@praisetemple.com. That is info@praisetemple.com. And we also want to extend the opportunity for you guys to give. You can do text to give at 28957 and type the appropriate code with the dollar amount in which you would like to give. You can also give at praisetemple.com, or my favorite method, via Cash App at $ Praise Temple Global. Make sure you spell it out, $ Praise Temple Global. Provide your designated amount, and then in the comment area, let us know if you would like to do tithes, offerings, pastoral giving, and things of that nature. So before we get started, I just want to again introduce myself. As previously stated, I'm Keisha Miller. I have been in this position as Executive Director for Young Adults a little over 2 years now. Prior to this, I was actually a part of the iGeneration Youth, where I was a co-leader over the middle schools and high schoolers, and also previously served on the praise team and in the choir. So I am operating in a little bit of a different element now, which I enjoy. It does have its challenges, as other things do. But I honestly like what I do. I like the people that I'm surrounded with, and we just have a good time. So at this time, I have my sister girl, Morgan Dallas Poole, online, as well as my little sister, Victoria Sewell, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves so y'all can know who y'all are talking to tonight. Morgan, if you don't mind.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Morgan Dallas Poole, and I serve as the Executive Director for the Worship and Creative Arts Ministry at Praise Temple, but I am also a member of the Young Adult Ministry at Praise Temple as well, under the leadership of Keisha Miller. And I serve on praise team, media team, choir. I'm all around. As long as I can give God the glory, I am excited about being a part of the Young Adult Ministry. So I'm getting real close to that candy yam age, that candy yam.
You only as young as you feel, so you're gonna be young forever. That's okay. We're gonna do it that way. Victoria.
Hi, everybody. I'm a member of the Young Adult Ministry under Keisha Miller, and I enjoy it. You know, I love being a part of the temple. I was brought up as our generation, from our generation on up, and I'm just moving forward. And I can't wait to see what great things we have in store.
Okay. Since we all have kind of like discussed, what we do and what we like, I just want to iterate how long I've been a part of Praise Temple. I've been affiliated with Praise Temple since I was 9 years old. Didn't officially become a member until I was 12, and to be here now at the age of 31 at a position of leadership, and Bishop jokes with me often, and other people like, wow, you came here as a child, you've grown up, you've gone through your stages, and now you're in a position of leadership, as he says, in preparation to take over when he decides to retire. So Morgan, can you tell us exactly how long you've been affiliated with Praise Temple? Not necessarily in a position of leadership, but just a member, or, started out as a guest like I did and so forth.
I definitely started out as I became a member of Praise Temple in 2013. I was coming with a friend of mine. She's the minister there, Kelly Bryant, and coming in support with her. And I became a member. And as I became a member, I, started to come into my own abilities. And of course, Bishop took notice, and here I am now in leadership. So I have not been there a long time, but I have been there long enough to know that that's where I love to be. I love to get my word from Bishop Brandon, a co-pastor, and being surrounded by such loving and caring people at Praise Temple.
And you, Victoria?
I think I joined Praise Temple roughly like maybe 8 or 9. It's like maybe 2008 or 9, either one of them. And I've been a member since then. I started singing in the choir when I first joined. I went from the choir. I wanted to dance, and I just stayed in the choir. I stayed in the choir up until our generation. Then I did drama and did other things as well. But I stuck to choir up until my senior year in high school. And then I just tried to transition myself out of it so I can prepare for the young adult ministry.
We are certainly glad to have you. You are the youngest on the call, and you represent that college age. Morgan and myself have, gone well beyond that. So it's going to be refreshing to get a perspective, from your particular, age group, as in regards to things that's going on. So for all of you all that are watching, just want to kind of explain, if you don't know what the young adult ministry is. We are designed to cater to the spiritual and social needs of young adults. Our age range is, we say 18 to 35. Cutoff is really kind of like 33-ish, but we give those that want to kind of be forever young the opportunity to provide input and to participate in things like that. One thing that I enjoy most about this ministry, that in our age group, we are able to be role models and mentors. Our generation youth, they are the age group that is right behind us. So they look to us in regards to getting in preparation for college, careers, starting families, things of that nature. Another thing that I really enjoy about YAM is that we're able to not only praise, but we play. And there's a lot of stigma associated with people in our age group, oh, you go to church, you don't hang out, you don't have fun. There are so many ways that you can still have fun, but give God his glory as well. So, we do hang out, but we keep it appropriate. And, we do the things that we are supposed to do as responsible individuals. And also, just not Praise Temple itself, but the ministry is a safe haven, because you just never know who you're entertaining, and some people may not have that friendship and that bond and things like that outside of the walls of the church. So I like to keep myself accessible, especially with the pandemic and everything going on. You don't see people, so it's nothing to shoot a text or comment on a Facebook status, hey, how you doing, just checking to see how's everything, I haven't seen you in a while. So we just like to stay connected. Of course, the expectation and the overall goal is to save souls. yes, there's strength in numbers, but I also like quality over quantity. I don't want to lead or be a part of a ministry with a whole bunch of people that's not making a change or that are not willing to change themselves. So you have to, you have to go into a situation like this with the mindset that, we're going to do what we need to do for ourselves, but we're also going to go out, spread the gospel, get the message out there, and do what we need to do for the kingdom of Christ. And of course, with the rephasing, the refreshing, like I like to call it, the reopening, the grand reopening, the big return, we're focused on growth. We are definitely interested in getting more people involved. There are great things coming for Praise Temple. We have always, not to brag or anything, but we've always been a ministry as a whole that has been kind of one step ahead. So we like to continue to grow. Praise Temple is going to be a ministry that is going to be in place for many years to come. And so we're just trying to go full throttle to get committed individuals, individuals who can support themselves as well as receive support from other ministries, and just continue to be who we are. We're unique, we're outliers, we are outside of the norm. We are like the prototype. And I going forward for young adult ministry, I want us to be the prototype for other ministries around the world. We are global. We are a global ministry, so there's no reason why we can't touch other countries and other ministries as well and be like, wow, I see what they're doing over there. I see how they're saving souls. I see how they're changing lives. I see how they're so involved in the community. I want us to be able to do the same. So that's my little spiel over what we do and things of that nature. We're going to kind of get into a few topics that I was asked to discuss. So I do have a few questions, ladies, and I will chime in as well. But this first one is kind of personal, so you can kind of answer it as you please. But what made you decide overall to make Praise Simple your church home? Like, what do you enjoy most about the ministry? And I can answer first just to give you an idea of where I'm trying to go. Like I said, I've been a part of the ministry since I was 9. When my mother and I originally moved from Mansfield, we were attending another church. I wasn't a member. I was, there to for the sake of saying that I go to church. And we were invited by a friend of hers and started visiting Praise Temple. But it was just something about the atmosphere. Every time you walked in, you felt it. And as we like to say, it was thick. You would never, I don't think there's anyone that would be able to walk into the sanctuary of Praise Temple and leave the same way that they did. And I also admired the fact that there were so many different ministries, even back then. I mean, we're not as large, we weren't as large as we were then, but there still was, they had the little kids and ministry that catered to their age group, but you also had the dance, you had the choir, you had the praise team and stuff. And that was something that really interested me. And even at a young age, deciding to confess my love for Christ and being baptized at the age of 12, I knew like, okay, this is not only where I wanted to be, is where I needed to be. So it's not like I chose Praise Temple. It's more like Praise Temple chose me, because it's like, okay, this is where you need to be. So either of you ladies, whoever wants to chime in first, more than welcome.
I agree with you. I remember when I became a member of Praise Temple, it was the praise team for me. And I know everybody's saying it now, it's the grace for me. So it was the praise team for me. I just remember hearing the All Shekinah Glory just sing, the late great Stephanie Dodson, Minister Antoine, Minister Houston, Elder Q, and they were singing Hosanna in the highest. And I was so moved and so touched and so filled just by listening to them sing. I was like, you know what, I'm joining the ministry. And I was getting a full encompass. I was getting it all. Bishop was giving an amazing word. And at that time when I joined, I was really going through a spiritual drought. And so there was just a lot of things that weren't really adding up. And I didn't feel like I was being spiritually fed at the church that I was at. And so I needed somewhere that could feed me spiritually and give me what I needed. Like I needed to hear from God and I was hungry. So when I came there, Praise Temple literally gave me a full plate of everything that I needed. And so I came to the ministry and I've been there and wanting to, work and serve in ministry ever since. So I love it there.
Couldn't have said it better. Victoria, ma'am.
I think what made me join was really just the word, Bishop word. It spoke to me on another level than any other church I ever been to. He can relate in ways that you may not think someone else can relate to you in. And so his word, and then, the ministers there, they are so loving and kind-hearted. And even when you think they're not paying attention to you, someone's always paying attention to you. Even when you think someone's not noticing what you're going through, Bishop notices, everyone notices what you're going through, and then they always have that kind heart and they're always helping. And so it was really the word for me. I mean, the people, the ministry altogether is something that it grows over time. So, and you can learn to love the people there. And that's just all. So that's what made me, join the ministry and continue to be in the ministry, continue to want to come to church every Sunday because I love it.
Yes, indeed. So, in regards to the ministry and us being in such a habit of being there, Sunday morning, Sunday night live, Wednesday, of course, COVID-19, this whole pandemic, it pretty much shook the world that we knew. And I myself personally had challenges because, Bishop always said, we are the church without walls. You don't have to necessarily be inside the church to go forth to praise and to worship, but sometimes it's just something about being there, being in the atmosphere. So I want to ask you guys, and I will come in after you. How have you been faring throughout this whole ordeal? Like, has it affected the way that you worship, like not being able to actually be in the sanctuary? I mean, we live streaming is fine, but like, does it make you feel different? Have you kind of teeter-tottered? Have you lost your way? Like, how are you maintaining? How are you keeping your faith? How are you staying the person that you are in Christ without being able to, physically go into a house of worship?
I guess I'll go first. I still been in the house. Amen. I've been on the front lines since COVID-19, but I will say this just from a frontline standpoint, it is definitely different because of the fact that we're so used to feeding off that corporate worship with everybody. So to have to sing on the praise team and, you can't get that energy, that spirit filled from everyone else. It feels different, but it didn't change the anointing that was in the house, if that makes sense. So It was kind of different to not have everybody corporately worship together, but being able to now kind of see people trickle back in, come back in and be a part, and we have that corporate worship, it just takes it to a whole nother level. I haven't lost it. It just felt different for a while. And sometimes it's just good, but it just opened our eyes that sometimes we take for granted what we always have. Like the routine of getting up and going to Sunday service, we get accustomed to that. But then when it's taken away from you without you really having a choice in the matter, then you realize that you miss it. You just miss being able to worship with like-minded people.
What about you, Victoria?
It hasn't. I'm gonna say I've kind of, teetered a little bit. There's days where I'm like, do I want to get on streaming today, or do I just want to sleep in? But it still hasn't affected the way that I worship God. I still daily, I worship him daily. He'll make sure some way, somehow I get a word in, whether I listen to an old recording or, if we're doing the early morning prayer and I get on and I'm on the prayer line, I still find a way, find time in my spirit, either in my week or in my spare time, to just get my word in, because that's how I get through a day, a week, or, so on. So that's how I do that. And it just is different from seeing the people. I actually miss church, but I was, excited last week when I was actually inside the sanctuary, and to feel the presence of God, just be able to worship with everyone. That was exciting for me.
And to just piggyback off of that, Bishop mentioned on Sunday's broadcast that we will be trying to transition back into the sanctuary, a very soft opening. We are, of course, going to continue practicing our social distancing methods in a very safe-like manner. But this coming Sunday will actually be my first time in the sanctuary in regards to as a part of a service since March. So I'm very, very excited. I told Morgan I'm just going to come into church and just lay at the altar and just cry, because it's going to be something so surreal, and it's going to feel like probably the first time that I ever went there. So I'm excited. I have a lot of, other young adults within the ministry that are excited about being able to come back into the sanctuary, because we just, outside of just being able to be there and to get the word, we miss each other. We're such a family, and there's so many people, with me being a part of the ministry as long as I have been, these people literally watch me grow up. And I know Minister Houston, we call her Mama Lena. She'll tell me all the time, I remember when you was a little girl, and she's right. Like, she is right. I was 9 years old when I started there. And just to be able to still be there with people like that with so much influence in the ministry and who are still working in their craft, it is indeed a blessing. So we do have another young adult who has joined, Donray L. If you would like to come off of mute and introduce yourself. Can you hear me? Okay, while she's getting things together, we're just gonna move forward for the sake of time. This is a question I came up with because I hear so many opinions of people. When everything started, and people were having to go without, people are losing their jobs, which caused them to, not to be able to take care of the things that they're normally able to take care of, providing for their families and things of that nature. And anyone who knows Praise Temple or who are affiliated with Praise Temple in any kind of way know that we are a giving people. We are a giving church. And you sometimes get the opinion of people like, what has the church done? What have they done for me? Why should I be so willing to run to them? So my question is, what do you feel is the church's responsibility with this pandemic going on? Now, as Bishop said, the church never closes. You are the church. We as people are the church. But do you feel that there's a certain responsibility that the church, and I'm not just speaking of Praise Temple, just the church of, the church of God as a whole has right now? Like, is there something that they are expected to do with everything that's going on? And how do you feel? You have the people who are feeling like they're not getting what they're needing. So how do you feel that the church is dealing with things of that nature?
Me personally, with what's going on in the pandemic, I mean, the church's responsibility is honestly to pray, still preach God, still give Jesus. And then, of course, because we are a community, like church is not just about coming inside the sanctuary and, you know, have a hoop, a holla, dance, and a shout. Like, we have to be proactive. So sometimes we have gone above and beyond, and I'm just speaking personally of our ministry, being able to give food to those in need, passing out face masks and masks, hand sanitizer. We're doing this in 2 locations. We are doing this every week, and we have been doing this every week since the pandemic started. Feeding children, feeding adults, making sure that families don't go without, and that's even including the families within Praise Temple. So even with the expectation of what people think, like, of course, they come on and they all have, you know, the naysayers. Everybody has something to say about what the church is doing. But if you actually look at it, this should be a time of just, honestly, forgiveness and reconciliation for all those naysayers who were saying, you know, the church is not visible, the church is not doing anything. Now you see the church in a major way. And so where's the conversation now? The conversation now with the hand claps and the pats on the back, even though the church doesn't need it. It's just one of those things where now sometimes you have to sit on your own hands and just be like, okay, now that you see that the church is visible, where's your naysaying now? The church has done above and beyond, and sometimes more than what, I'll just say, this government has done in this situation. So I think the church has done especially great for what they've been handed.
And I just want to piggyback off something you said. You used the term visible, and I remember, I'm not sure how long ago, but I remember Bishop preaching on church visible. And at that point in time, I really didn't, you know, kind of understand what he was talking about. But now I see it. Is you have to be more than your words. You have to show that everything that you say you're going to do, that you're going to do. And that's one thing that I enjoy about not only being a part of Praise Temple, but this particular ministry, is that we go forth and if we say we're going to do something, it's going to happen. And it's not to prove anyone wrong, but to just kind of show people like, yeah, you can do it despite whatever's going on around you. It's still possible to go forth and take care of the business that you need to take care of. Victoria, did you want to chime in on that particular question?
No.
You did? Okay, that's fine. One thing that Bishop requested that we kind of discussed a little bit, and we did this on the panel discussion that we had back in June with myself, ADA Sine Hall, Courtney Chandler, and Eric Shepard. With everything that's going on in the world today, just even outside of the pandemic, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement is still a big thing. And I just want to get you all's intake of how, being in this age group, and especially being Black women, how do you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement? And do you see a future? Like, do you feel like what they're doing is reputable? Like, are we making any progress? Are we stagnant? Is there something that needs to change in order for us to, you know, experience better? I just want to get your intake on the movement as a whole.
I think I'm gonna go first. I want to speak for my age group and this is like my vision on it, because nowadays you see a lot of killings going on, like on the news. Like last week during the hurricane, right before the hurricane, there were 3 young men that got shot on Wednesday, and they were all in the same age group, and 2 of them happened to pass away. And I see it as the Black Lives Matter movement. We steady say Black Lives Matter, and it does. Black Lives Matter to the complete and to the fullest. But if we're out here killing each other, how do it matter to you? And I preach, and I say this all the time to someone that's my age. How does Black Lives matter to you? As much as you say it does, if you're killing your brother, your sister, we have to help each other before we kill each other. And if we're not going to help each other, why are you walking around saying it? So, I mean, I see a change eventually. I think we just really have to find someone that's older and wiser to come and talk to my age group, someone that's older and wise, just talk to us, because if we get someone come and talk to us and say, hey, that's not the way to do it, they may change. It may be a difference come around. But until that happens, you never know. I take every day by day. I pray for everyone. I try not to hold a grudge with no one, because you can't hold a grudge with people, because look what we're facing in the world today. So that's my take on it.
I do I agree with you on that part, but in this, I'm of course a little older, so you're college age, but the Black Lives Matter movement is definitely different. Of course, we have community, and I'm one of those firm believers that I do not believe in the whole ideal of Black on Black crime. Like, I do not buy into that, because you have to think about where we are. When Caucasian people kill Caucasian people, they never mention it as being white on white crime. When Hispanics kill Hispanics, it's never mentioned as Hispanic on Hispanic crime. But we in the Black community have this stigmatism where we allow people to label us. We allow them to put labels on us. Oh, this is Black on Black crime. The age group that you're in, of course, they're younger. However, when we're talking about Black Lives Matter, it's about the idea that certain things in the criminal justice system just need to be reformed. So it's strictly about the fact that when a African-American man is pulled over, or an African-American woman is pulled over, there should not be a fear for your life. And of course, when we hold up our fist and say Black Lives Matter, yes, we want to change the community, but that has to come from within the community. Outside of the community, it is so hard to get people to see that you do not want to. If you get pulled over by the police, you don't want to be in fear. That's just bottom line. And so, I think about the fact that, of course, you're my sister. Like, when you start driving, you are going to run into a police encounter. You don't ever want it to be where you have an encounter with the police, and if you say something that they feel is disrespectful or threatening to their lives, that they feel the need to pull out a weapon on you and kill you. That's crazy. I have a son who is growing up in this whole Black Lives Matter movement, and I want to see progressive change, because by the time he turns 18, he's going to be a big, tall Black guy, and being big, tall, and Black makes you a threat instead of just making you human. So that just goes back to Martin Luther King. I really want my child to be judged based on his character and not the color of his skin. So that's the Black Lives Matter movement from the candy-ammed side with a little bit more insight and experience from it. But I do get what you're saying. I do, within the community.
Yes, ma'am. Damielle, are you able to come off of mute to introduce yourself briefly before we proceed?
Hello, everybody.
You can just tell everyone who you are, how long you have been a part of the ministry, and what you love most about being a part of Praise Temple.
Okay. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am Darielle Melton. I've been going to the church since 07. I actually joined in 09. Well, I feel like I was a part in 07. But yeah, I've been going that long, and I really like Praise Temple. People, they have their opinions or whatever, and that's neither here or there. But as far as me, because I've been going as long as I've been going, I love it. I feel that. What else you want me to talk about? I'm sorry.
it was just how long you've been a part of the ministry, and you know what you what you like most about it. So you pretty much answered that for us. So I do thank you. I know you had some other obligations, but thank you for taking the time to get on and to let everyone know who you are as a part of the YAM ministry. One other thing that Bishop wanted me to mention, we referenced change, and as we all know, this year is a election year, possibly a re-election year. So he just wanted me to emphasize the importance of voting, especially in our age group and the people, the age group that is right behind us. A lot of them have just turned 18. This will be their first time registering to vote, and this will be their first time voting. So I think our age group, we really need to reiterate how important it is. I will never forget being a freshman at LSUS. I was 18 and it was time to vote, and I was able to vote for the first African American president of the United States. It was no better feeling. Even though I was just one person, I felt like I did my due diligence, going to the ballots, casting my votes out. Even with it being my first time voting, I remember I was in the newspaper as a first time voter coming out of the voting booth. And I do have some information in regards to voting deadlines, just to not only let you guys know, but everyone who is watching, that you do still have time to get registered and things of that nature. So election day will be held Tuesday, November the 3rd, first Tuesday in November, and the deadline to register to vote is October 13th. They have to where you can register online. You can register by mail. If you choose to register by mail, it has to be done so by Monday, October the 5th. Has to be postmarked by that day, or they will not count you as a registered voter. And you can also register in person if you prefer to register in person. Also has to be done by October 5th. They will allow there to be a time to vote via mail, and you have to request your ballots by October 30th. And I know with everything that's going on with the postal service, a lot of people are probably going to be apprehensive about voting by mail, but you have to consider the individuals who don't have access to the internet or means of transportation to get to the polls. But I think the most important thing overall is to get out and vote. People constantly say, well, my voice doesn't matter, my opinion doesn't matter. Well, if you're not offering your opinion, or if you're not speaking up, how do you know that? There's been plenty of times, even if you're thinking about just high school elections, somebody can lose by one vote because one person decided, well, I'm not going to get up, I'm not going to vote, it doesn't matter anyway. So with everything that's going on in the world, just outside of the pandemic and just the economy, just how people are as humans, we have a responsibility to make sure that we elect the right people. And I'm just not just speaking at a presidential level. I mean, all the way down to your city government, your parish government. It is so important. We're at this age. There are a lot of people in our age bracket that are running for Senate, federal level, position in governments. And the mayor of Shreveport, he's a young adult, and he's doing very well in the things that he's choosing to do. So it is our time now to put the people that we support, that we look up to, that we feel are going to make a change and stop recycling the same old methodologies, and going with what they call the norm, or being more comfortable with putting people in place because they're going to follow the same antics as the people that came before them. So for all of you who are on this call, all of you who are watching, please make sure that you are registered to vote. Again, that deadline is Tuesday, October 13th. Get registered. You are able to get on the internet to learn about your various voting sites and things of that nature. If you need any assistance and things like that, if you want to learn more about what you're voting for, please educate yourself. There's so many various resources that are within arm's reach. Talk to a neighbor, talk to a friend, talk to your pastor. But there are so many resources that will let you know what's going on and what you need to do. I actually As far as questions, Morgan, that's all I have. But I did want to just reiterate what being a part of young adult ministry is like and what it has done for me. Um, when Bishop first asked me to be an executive director, I was nervous because beforehand I was just more so of like a co-director or like an assistant. And as he likes to say, you don't volunteer, you're voluntold. So he pretty much say, this is what you're going to do. And as apprehensive as you may be, you question it and you're like, okay. And I do have my days like, how do I keep it fresh? How do I keep it interesting? How do I keep it to where people are intrigued and they're going to want to be a part? But I have found that, like I said earlier, I'm surrounded by a great group of individuals, not only inside of my age group, but the younger kids, even the elders in the church have always been supportive, have always been loving, definitely treat you like family. So if there are any of you young adults who attend Praise Simple that would like to be a part, we would absolutely love to have you. I know we have restrictions in regards to gatherings and things like that because of COVID, but we are trying to think of more innovative ways to just keep people involved and keep people interested to get the word out. One thing that I do on Thursdays is I post an encouraging word, and it may be, a testimony, it may be a song or something of that nature, but to keep each other uplifted. By the time we get to a Thursday, our week is almost over and you may feel, just worn down in a rut, tired and things like that. But you have to know that there are people who look up to you, people who are watching you. So you can never let them see you sweat. I actually didn't know when I first began posting those messages, so many people were actually seeing them. Not they may not have necessarily been liking, commenting, or sharing, but people would inbox me and like, hey, that was right on time. I woke up feeling just like this morning, or whatever the case may be. So it definitely gives me a confidence and a reassurance that the position that I have been placed in was a position designed for me, and I am grateful for the opportunity, of course, to serve as always and just be someone that people can go to. So if you are interested in becoming a part, you can always send your inquiries to info@praysimple.com and just discuss about becoming a part of the young adult ministry. And we have ministers and leaders in place that will direct you to the necessary contact person, whether it be myself or my co-director, Eric Shepard, in his absence. And we would just love to have you. Also, even though we are going back into the church, we are still streaming. We have various streaming services that you are able to partake in. Of course, we have Facebook Live, we have YouTube Live, and if you are going to watch us on YouTube, please not only like the page, but subscribe. Let us know that you are there with us. Let us know that you are participating. You can also see us on Periscope via Twitter and Instagram Live, and of course at praisetemple.com. So that's all I have for this evening, ladies. Would anybody else like to add any closing remarks or anything before I offer joining the ministry and closing us in prayer?
I just want to say, one, you're awesome. And I love being a part of the young adult ministry. You are very, very right. You keep it fresh, and those posts on Thursdays, you do not understand how they push me through the week. So I appreciate everything that you do for the young adult ministry, because when you love what you do, it shows, and you absolutely love what you do. So I appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me on the call tonight.
Thank you so much. My Morgan, Morgan is a woman of many hats, and I just have to give props where props are due, from, as she said, from being a part of WACA, from the praise team to the choir, the media ministry. She's also a wife, she's a mother, she's a teacher. So she does a lot, and for her to walk and do everything as effortlessly as I see, is something to definitely admire. So thank you again, Morgan. I love you. Victoria, did you want to add anything else before getting off?
Yes, thank you for allowing me to be on the call. You know, like I said before, I got your back. Uh uh yeah, and I just want to piggyback off of what you said also. If you want to join the ministry, please, 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 please come be a part. Trust, it is fun. I'm fun. Okay. So if I'm super fun, trust we're gonna have fun because I like to make everybody laugh and whatnot. And also this is a big year to vote. I'm excited about voting. This is a big year to vote to me because it's my first presidential vote. And so if you're not registered to vote and you are of age to vote, please make sure you go get registered before the deadlines. Like you said, October 5th for mailing and the other one. I forgot what it was, but October 5th. And then if you're going to do it online, October 13th, please make sure you get registered. This is important. It may not seem as important as to you, but if you have kids or anything of that nature, growing up for them, this is important. So please make sure you get registered and you vote. That's all.
I couldn't hear you teacher, but I was thinking that you told me to go ahead. So I just want to say that I'm so glad to be on here with you ladies tonight, and I'm just grateful that we're all still here in good health, and and looking forward to September 6th. I have a question about that for the big return. Is it just the morning service, or are we going to have 7 p.m. service? I can't hear you, teacher.
I am sorry. I did not realize I was muted and I was just talking. Anyway, to answer what Donriel said, as of now, we will still just be doing the 10 a.m. worship. And as I receive further directive, I will pass it along to you guys that is within my ministry. But we are excited to be able to go back this Sunday. We still will be practicing our social distancing. And if there are individuals who choose to not go into the sanctuary, of course, we are still doing praise in the parking lot immediately following the 10 a.m. service. So that is still an option. And as of course, as well as the streaming options that we have available. So without further ado, lastly, I just want to offer the opportunity. If you have any prayer requests, please email them in at info@praysimple.com. We have Bishop and other ministers in place who are there to meet your needs. And once again, also, if you would like to become a part of the ministry, you can use that same email address to provide any questions and things that you may have. Well, once again, ladies, thank you so much for being on with me tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules to provide your input. Thank you so much for your support. Bishop, I know you're watching. Thank you so much again for your leadership. Thank you for having the faith in me that I may lead and do things as you are pleased with them. So I just wanted to tell you guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and to remember, love God, love yourself, love people. Good night.